Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another HCW show preview. I'm, of course, here. I'm Dan DPWZ, and I am joined. Actually, before I say who I'm joined by, I should say the show recovering AEW Forbidden Door, which is happening this Sunday, June 30th.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that's a whole month away from now. But I am joined by resident expert of New Japan, which is the main reason I brought him on because he knows more about it than I will. Good friend of the show and collaborator himself. It is Muzza.
Oh, okay, it's me. Yeah.
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Good to be back. It's been a bit of a while, mainly because Pro 2 just aren't uploading anything right now, but they plan too soon.
Mhm.
Too soon. I'm sure you're enjoying the break.
I mean, it's given me other stuff to focus on, so I don't mind it too much.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Having
yes,
interesting to see Forbidden Door. We've got 9 matches so far confirmed, and yeah, we've got what looks to be another solid, good card here.
absolutely, and I think it goes to say that there's something to do with pay per views or PLEs, like they always deliver, or at least
Yeah,
99% of the time they deliver. I think they had that one bad pay per view, which is a couple of years ago, but
got another one.
yeah. um, but yes, so it's funny you mentioned the. We'll get into it right away, but number of matches. So at the moment, there's 9 confirmed. Um, Last year there was 14, and the year before that there was 13. So the first thing I suppose is worth talking about is how many matches do we think there'll be? Is 9 what we're confirmed like locked at? Because there's still another Dynamite. Sorry, there's a whole Dynamite Collision and Rampage before uh, this year happens.
Yeah.
So do you think
Well,
do you think
yeah. Considering, AEW do tend to go all out on their amount of matches, I think they'll probably squeeze in maybe one, two more on the main card, obviously, and then the rest they'll throw to the pre-show.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, is there anything on the current card that you think will get sort of relegated to the pre-show?
No, I don't think so. Well, maybe the trios match, but I don't. I think there's a certain member of that trios match that will say that he deserves to be on the main show because it's a teaching moment.
Of course, yeah. To
So
learn
we just go
from.
straight into that match, I guess.
We might as well, yeah, because you segued into it, so might as well. So the first match we're looking at here is the trios match, which is presumably opening the show. Um, we have Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, along with Big Bill and Brian Keith. His his classroom. I don't know what the official termage is for it. Taking on the sort of makeshift, but not really makeshift anymore. Trio of Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata. Um, I personally look forward. I'm looking forward to this. Despite everything that's said online and what I've heard among my friend groups, people just don't like Chris Jericho, and I understand where they're coming from. I do because you've already got a similar gimmick with the Young Bucks. However, Jericho brings a certain level of charisma, and a certain level of character, and Jericho's just a slightly older. He's just an older version of the Bucks in terms of character. Like all three of them work best as heels, and Jericho is a fantastic heel. And this whole condescending, I know better than you treatment that he treats employees with and other wrestlers with, for others it's cringe. I think it's a good kind of cringe. Like it's funny and
Yeah, I think.
having so go on.
I think a lot of people maybe take the Jericho gimmick a bit too seriously. I think, not to say, if you don't like it, you don't like it, obviously, but
Yeah.
For me, I've definitely enjoyed it. I like what he's done here. He's essentially got an upgrade in the heavy this time. I was half expecting Jake Hager to show up because Hager cannot escape him, but now Hager's gone, so you got Big Bill. That's an upgrade. Brian Keith's a surprise inclusion, but he kind of fills the role of the young. Well, I don't know how old Brian Keith is, but he's the young prospect of the group.
Yeah, he's definitely more of the serious man to what Big Bill
Yeah,
and Jericho provide, because Big Bill is like
I
the
think
uh,
someone said that Brian Keith is kind of almost the. He just represents Jericho's anger, and like so Jericho doesn't have to show his anger; it's just all manifested into Brian Keith.
yeah,
And I think,
yeah,
yeah, that just works.
yeah, absolutely. And of course you got Big Bill, who's always said as an upgrade from his previous association with with Jake Hager. um,
Yeah,
I honestly, it's a good little trio, and they potentially have got potential going forward. I mean, assuming one doesn't break off, because that's probably the way they're going with Jericho factions. But
yeah.
they're taking on another trio, a quite a different one. It's it's one that's been on TV before, but just a bit odd when you look at the names involved. Um, so you've got Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata.
There's a row here.
I I have no words to describe this trio.
It's uh, it's funny. You got Samoa Joe, who just a badass. Katsuyori Shibata, badass. Hook, badass before her. Oh, but Hook have a towel associated with them. Maybe this is Hook. Hook will earn his towel. That's my old gimmick with it. If you need to be a badass, apparently you need a towel. That's
yeah, I mean,
seems to be the
look at Taz.
yeah.
Look at
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be as you say, Chris Jericho's getting up there in age, but I think he's still good enough to be put in these trios matches and do well. I think there's no real similarly Hook who's still somewhat learning. He's still a bit ropey in the ring, but with the names you've got there, like you've got Joe, you got Shibata, you got Big Bill, you got Brian Keith. They can do a lot of the heavy lifting.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think this will be a fun trios match, assuming it does open the show. But you never know. You never know with how these cards look.
Yeah, no, exactly. And like before, like Shibata was one of my favorite wrestlers, and now he's still good. It's just not the same. And
You're not fond of his tech speech?
that's all right.
Yeah.
But it's a case of like I don't know. Like the only match of his I probably enjoyed Shibata in his like latest run was the no DQ on with Jericho on Dynamite. I think it was Dynamite.
Yeah.
Like with like the I think it was like the Lego bricks and the trash can over the head and
Nah, yes. Just yeah, I think this will definitely be a good match for certain.
yeah, and there's no reason why it wouldn't be really. Just as well, fun fact: well, Samoa Joe was world champion about 2 months ago.
Um, that's a bit harsh.
He
It seems to
was.
be he's similarly going into a mentoring role.
Yeah,
But I think Samoa Joe. He's been a good character for AEW in a sense that he's so far made everything he does work.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think he should be able to make this work as well.
Yeah, that's well said. Honestly, I agree. It's just it's quite interesting to look at the role, like the sort of not downfall, but just the difference now in what he's doing compared to what he was doing a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
So we're not doing predictions just yet. We're going to go on to those at the end of the coverage here. So we'll just get through the block of matches and talk about each match, and then at the end we'll just suckle through them again and give our predictions only, and that way it's easier to just filter that to what it is rather than try and find it in each section.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on though to this match of the night. Again, this is just the wiki listing. I don't know what the actual match was going to be. We have a match that I'm looking forward to, that you're looking forward to, and anyone who likes grappling and wrestling and pro wrestling in general will probably like. We have a men's Owen Hart Cup tournament first round match between the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, and the Dragon? Last Dragon? I can't remember what his nickname is now.
I think he's just the dragon, but he's also now referring to himself as the Japanese dragon.
Oh, that makes sense.
Just for the sole purpose of this.
Yeah, the Japanese Dragon, Shingo Takagi.
Ooh, baby, this just. If I told you this was when they originally announced Shingo was in the tournament, this was my final.
Yeah, yeah, I think this really.
But then now they've announced it as a first round match, which just shows they're very much taking this Owen Hart Cup tournament a lot more seriously compared to last year. Mainly because the stakes of the winner gets a world title, is getting the world title shot at All In, and is likely main eventing All In.
Yeah.
All In, and I don't think I've had a full look at the bracket, but I think you've got Bryan Danielson, Shingo Takagi, Jay White, Ray Phoenix. I forget who's on the other side.
So
you've got Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah,
all big names, as you can see. we've got a mystery person.
Yeah, so the other match that you didn't mention was the one that's already happened, which was between Claudio Castagnoli and Pac.
Yes, that's it.
But I mean, as you said, these names involved, other than Jeff Jarrett, they're all
How
very.
How dare you? Have you not seen his promo? Have you not seen his promo of why he's in the Owen?
Claudio,
have you seen his promo of why he's in?
Pac, Bryan Danielson, Shingo Takagi, Ray Phoenix, Jay White, Jeff Jarrett, and a wildcard entrant, which we have at the moment. There's no real idea who that could be.
I've got an idea, but I'll keep my predictions to myself.
Say your ideas. Say them out loud. Say them out proud.
So there's a cowboy missing, and he needs to get his vengeance on the world champ.
Oh, Brian Keith.
No. No, the other cowboy.
Who's the other cow? No, Jeff Jarrett's there.
Hangman.
Hangman? Isn't that a film?
God's sake, yeah. It doesn't matter. He's losing. It doesn't matter. Jeff Jarrett's winning the whole tournament, and he's gonna win the Owen for Owen, and then become world champion at All In. Everyone wins.
Of course, yes.
Legitimately,
the person with the least chance of winning this out of the 8 names involved, and I don't know who the wild card is.
Never count out Jeff Jarrett.
I saw him at Wembley. That's all I needed. Never again.
Yep. You were just saying, I've finally seen him. Don't ever appear to me again.
Yep. That's how I feel with Adam Copeland as well. Like if I saw him once, then that's all I need to see of him. But no.
Remind me at All In, who attacked Jeff Jarrett? Who attacked Jeff Jarrett?
Oh, it was
at All In.
Oh, Paul White and Anthony Ogogo. That was it. Yeah.
There's a third.
I don't think there was. Anyway,
there was.
So there was Bryan Danielson against Shingo Takagi. Again, this. I mean, let's say again, we ain't gonna go into the match here properly. This is going to be a hard-hitting, physical, and I mean physical affair. Like, You got Bryan Danielson, who is arguably having some of the best matches of his career. He's also said this might be his final year in wrestling, or at least wrestling full time. So he's going all out with the matches he's having, and he's risking injury. He's been injured, like recently, like, and he's going up against someone like Shingo Takagi, who, as we all know, the ones who watch New Japan will know, who watched that one episode of Rampage. I think it was last week where he had one match on it, Shingo Takagi against AR Fox. Shingo is amazing. Like, Shingo's a former world champion in New Japan, former trios champion, former never openweight champion. Like, he's held a lot of titles in New Japan, and for good reason. He's won Best of Super Juniors, I think, as well. He's done
News runner-up.
Oh, runner-up, sorry, yeah. And yeah, I mean, he's done a lot in New Japan, and now he's coming over to take on one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. Honestly, this is going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm trying to recall. I don't know if this is a first-time matchup. I feel like they've faced off once before.
They might have done, like, years ago, like maybe.
I'm literally right now just about to check.
Oh, okay.
No, this is the first-time matchup.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've never even faced off in multi-mans. This is a proper first-time match.
Proper.
Yeah, you know, Shingo Takagi, he knows how. Yeah, as you say, it's going to be a hard-hitting match. Mm-hmm. Shingo knows how to do hard-hitting matches. He's just recently had a war with Hanare, losing the never openweight title. I think this is, as I said, people say it's a dream match. It's Dragon versus Dragon. Mm-hmm. Dragon, how very Yakuza 2 of them. There we go. There's a niche reference.
Double Dragon, Dragonception, Dragon Balls.
Only which one's Kiryu and which one's Ryuji?
Shingo's a Ryuji.
Yeah, Shingo's feels like a Ryuji.
But no, that will be, you know, while not a hugely, you know, story-driven match, it's just, if you like the graps, if you like just the pro graps, you know, pro wrestling at its finest.
As that one T-shirt said, it's for the sickos.
There you go. It is for the sickos, because there's a very good chance here, and I don't wish it, but there's a good chance that someone might get hurt here. Because these two don't hold back.
Nope, they do not.
But no, we move on from that absolutely physical affair to a match that, on paper, doesn't necessarily look that exciting. But if you are familiar with the participants involved, you might change your tune on that. I'm not familiar with it, so I'm not particularly thrilled or hyped about it. I mean, I'll watch it still, but my expectations are quite low going into it. It is, of course, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, taking on Hechikero. Now, I don't know much about Hechikero. I've only seen him on AEW Collision and the occasional appearance elsewhere. I've never seen him in Mexico, because I don't have the time to watch Mexican wrestling. I watched, like, I think one Mania and I think a CWL show at some point. I don't know when I watched it. I can't remember him being on it. He might be on it. I don't remember. But from what I've seen him, he's okay. But is he just another Mexican wrestler?
No. So Hechicero is, you know, some people, he is, in my opinion, one of the best technical wrestlers in Mexico. Like, and for those who have watched them, they hold them in high regard. Like, they put him up to this almost the same level as, you know, your Bryan Danielsons and your Zack Sabre Jr.'s.
Oh wow!
Which is funny enough because all three have faced each other in singles matches. So it's like you've got the holy trinity of technical wrestling. but yeah, HCW, well, he's good. He's got a great entrance, great look. I do agree that this match is it's weird on paper because it's a very much a styles clash. Because I don't, you ne- we don't,
No.
you don't see MJF as a technical wrestler,
No.
and MJF's obviously, I don't know if he's just came off the feud. He's came off a feud with Rush. He's going from one Mexican to another. And yeah, I mean, MJF's return so far, he's just back from injury. He looks in great shape. Haven't seen the match against Rush. I know that was probably good, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just a very weird match on paper, which tends to be the thing for MJF. He doesn't, for Forbidden Door at least. I know last year he was against Tanahashi,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if that was his first time on Forbidden Door. So he doesn't. I don't know if I wouldn't say he doesn't fit the vibe of Forbidden Door, but he's more a character driven wrestler. And as we said, there's not really much of a story to this. I could be proven wrong, and this could be a good match, but I don't think there's as much expectations on this match than compared to some of the others.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Pardon me. Uh, as you said already, I'm not familiar with Hichikawa's work particularly. I've seen one or two matches of his, and that's about it. MJF, I know, is a very solid worker and someone who put on a great match. I don't know if it's there with Hechikero, because Hechikero seems to be aligning himself with the generic henchman that is Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony, who are somewhat big, I guess, on the Ring of Honor. Um, but other than that, he seems to be aligning himself with them, and I'm not too sure what the point of this is, other than to build MJF against the Gates of Agony and Brian Cage. Of course, this is also serving as part of the CMLL agreement or partnership as well, for that side of the Forbidden Door thing. But yeah, I mean, this is probably my low match of the night, in all honesty. And saying that, there's a match coming up that I'm not really a fan of, but um, I don't know. It's a very odd thing, and I hope I'm proven wrong. And I always say that, like, I want wrestling to succeed, and I want wrestlers to do well and put on great matches. If this does good, then I'm happy to be proven wrong. But right now, I've got no hopes for it. Not no hopes, no expectations for it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So we move on to the match that I said I wasn't particularly hyped for anyway. um. So, okay. So a singles match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Should this be maybe higher on the listing here for Wikipedia? Maybe.
I mean, we're going off the wiki list. When has the wiki list ever been proven to be accurate?
True. We have champion John Moxley taking on champion taking on challenger Tetsuya Naito. Now we've not covered AEW in a little bit on the channel. I'm not sure when the last show we covered would have been. It could be All In, like last year. I don't know how far back it goes for us. But it's been a little bit. So we've not really covered it because we stopped doing the main podcast, and that covered Dynamite and Collision. But I've been keeping up with it. New Japan not so much, but keeping up with it. And I know recently Naito was champion, lost it to Moxley in America. But I don't necessarily care. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm someone who, when I was younger, I was a huge fan of Naito. I liked how cool he was. I liked that he took his time. I loved that he didn't give a shit. But as I got a bit older and a bit more aware of pro wrestling, I realized Naito is just a bit of a prick, isn't he? Like, Naito, like, he's cocky, he's confident, but at the same time, most of the time he sort of seems like he seems like he's coasting. Like most matches he'll wrestle with a shirt on, like unless like a G1 or something. But
yeah, like he's definitely, sometimes Naito will coast, but we know that when it's go time for him, he can still very much go, even if he's like Muto and one of his knees is pretty much made up how to do by tape and glue.
Yeah.
Tape and glue. But yeah, as you said, Moxley bet him in America, and Mox has gone on a bit of a run recently. He's retained against the likes of, he had a match with Powerhouse Hobbs on Dynamite. He's been defending against mainly House of Torture with Ren Narita. Then he faced his protege Shota Umino, and his most recent defense was a lumberjack match against Evil, which surprisingly, Evil House of Torture match lumberjack, you'd think, oh, here we go. But I thought it wasn't as bad. Moxley carried that match into a decent enough title match. Well, a match that I had no expectations in, so it could only be surprising. But yeah, it's interesting. I think unless you think they're going to go somewhere different, I think the result is, again, we shouldn't be getting too forward in the prediction, but I think I assume for both of us the result is pretty obvious. But Moxley Knight is a weird one. It's a match that I think has happened a couple of times before, but it's not exactly what you'd say, I want to see these two face off. They're not really,
I think
they've both got.
Yeah. I think it's more just the styles don't blend well with these two.
Yeah.
And obviously you've got Moxley, who is sort of akin to like a Stone Cold, who is the brawler type. Like your, sort of like Hitmon Lee. But, Moxley has good matches. It's just, I don't like Moses matches. Like,
You just never been into Moxley, have you?
Not really. Like, I like the Bloodsport match with Josh Barnett. That was phenomenal because that is my kind of wrestling. I do like that kind of wrestling. But when he tries to do it on Dynamite, or Collision or whatever, like it doesn't hit the same way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's due to that maybe filming or cameras. I don't know, but I don't know. There's something different about Moxley on the Indies to Moxley in AEW. But Moxley's he's okay. But like he for me was always the weakest part of that trio that he was part of back in the day.
Yeah.
It's a weird one for me. Again, I just have no real excitement for this match. It's for a title in a company I don't really keep up with. And yeah, as you said, the prediction for this, I'm not going into it, but the result is a pretty cut and dry. I think it's pretty obvious as well. So we move on from that, because I've got nothing else for you to add to that. Unless you do.
No, I've got nothing.
Okay. It's a singles match, and probably the match I'm looking forward to most on this entire card for obvious reasons. So we have Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
Zach is always, anytime it comes to Forbidden Door, Zach is, he's going to put on a banger. These two, I think they've known each other a while, surprisingly. Like, I think they have faced off before, way back in the day, but, this is, Orange Cassidy, as much as people, for people who just look at him as, a comedy character, comedy character. He's a good wrestler, and surprisingly a very good technical wrestler as well. Obviously, he's nowhere near a Zack Sabre Jr. level, but I think he's very good. And yeah, this match I think is going to be a very good match to watch, and I think you're more high on this than I am. I'm not saying I'm low on this, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. But I think your anticipation's a lot higher than mine is.
Yeah, that's definitely fair to say. I am just a huge fan of Zack Sabre Jr. and I have been for coming on 10 years ish, something like that. Like I've seen this guy rise up through the Brit Rest scene, eventually transition over to Japan, move to Japan full time, come back to America and still do UK shows and like this guy, you know, call his name and he will appear. He is like the actual Joe Hendry. Like, but no, he is phenomenal. He is arguably better than Brian Danielson at technical wrestling. I consider him the best technical wrestler in the world at the moment. I don't know if I say ever, but because ever's a long time period to consider. But at the moment, definitely better than Brian. Brian's a close second though. But Sabre is just a different kind of animal. Like the amount of originality in his moves. He only has like the same 3 or 4 moves, and the rest of them are some unique variation of a submission or some different kind of hold that you've not seen done, or he'll target a specific limb throughout the whole state of the match. Like, I have thorough enjoyment when I see Zack Sabre Jr. And I know people like mock him because he's British and he says things funny, but that's part of his gimmick. That's part of his character. Like he lures you in with the whole calling you a muppet or calling you orange bollocks or calling you whatever, because that's who he is. He brings you in with that, and he keeps you in with technical wrestling. He keeps you in with the beauty of his wrestling. And on the other side of that coin, of course, you've got Orange Cassidy, who is very like half and half in regards to the reception for him. In that you either like him or you hate him, really, and for some reason there's no in between. Some people say that he was ruined when he started talking on Dynamite, because before that he had that indie appeal where he didn't talk at all. And obviously Dynamite he was doing the whole like he didn't talk for a bit. Yeah, he's got the hands in the pockets. He's got the lackluster move set where it's like he doesn't like put his all into a splash or a slap or a punch, whatever. So there's that aspect that makes him a comedy character. But that was in the past. I think he's evolved past that now into a very good competitor. The only negative point I have about him is not even his fault. Really, it's the booking that he had. A couple of years ago, I think it was at this point, the first international title reign he had, where he arguably should have lost it way before he actually did. But that's booking.
I did have. I was happy with the length he had. I think it was just a case of there was the whole dropping it to Moxley, and then we had that whole issue of you need to drop it to Phoenix, drop it back to Orange Cassidy, win it again, and all that. I think it was clear what they were trying to do. It was meant to be, he drops it to Moxley and then wins it back from Moxley, but that didn't happen. Did injury, so it was a mess. But I think, yeah, Orange Cassidy right now he's kind of stuck in a bit of a limbo here. He just came off a feud with Trent after the Best Friends imploded. I think he's still feuding with them now. I think they're looking at potential. Yeah, a mixed tag of sorts. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah, I think this match definitely. I wouldn't say it's not good. I think it's the match that I think is going to surprise a lot of people with how good it's actually going to be.
Yeah, precisely. And that's literally my next note here. This is the sleeper match of the night. Like people are gonna sleep on this because they're not gonna know how good it will be. Like if we got any indication of how good it will be, it would have been last year at Villain Door when they were both part of that four way. Sorry,
Oh,
uh,
wait, yeah.
it was them two, Shibata and someone else. I don't know who it
Daniel
was.
Garcia.
Yeah, there you go. Which was for me one of the best matches of the night last year, uh, and that was thanks to in part Cassidy and Saber, who are both just phenomenal. Well, one's phenomenal, one's really good. Uh, but yeah, this is for me the match I look forward to most. It's just the kind of graps I like. And Zach just again as a amazing. And if Hachikero is, as you said before, like Zack Sabre Jr. or Brian Danielson, but just in Mexico, like I'm sure I will appreciate the match with MGF too. But I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So move on now to the singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. With Mariah May at ringside, apparently in both corners. I don't know how that works. Just cut her in half.
It's just she'll go from one corner and then run to the other. And she'll just back and forth.
We have champion Timeless Tony Storm, who's with Luther, of course, taking on Mina Shirakawa. Now I know you're a fan of Mina.
I am a fan of the Mina. Not just, and no, obviously she's someone who I've always felt for the longest time, if she went to America, she would shine because she has huge amount of charisma, and I knew her English was stronger than some, and I think she recently cut a promo in AEW, and it was well received for someone who's what is a second language.
Mm-hmm.
This match, arguably the best built in terms of story. Like every other match, with every other match, match on this is mostly just it's just a great match on paper. But this match has been built up quite well for a good couple of months now.
Mm-hmm.
It's all regarding to Mariah May's past and present. For those who don't know, Mariah May originally was in Stardom, where she was in I think it was Club Venus, which was Mina Shirakawa's stable.
Mm-hmm.
Their former tag team champions in Stardom, and their whole tag team gimmick was, they were. It was never said they were lovers, but it was very implied.
Yeah.
Implied. I remember one promo where they were talking about, we sleep together, we train together, we shower together. Yeah. Like in, it's like but they always evaluated themselves as the best of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then with this, and then with Mariah May moving into AEW, she's now with Tony Storm, who I think their relationship is definitely more sort of like a bit more teacher studenty, but there's still very much implications. So now Mariah May's caught in the middle between a current friend and a past, and it seems like she's not wanting to have to choose. She's almost trying to make them coexist, which hasn't worked out, and now we've got this match for the women's world title. And I think Toni Storm, her reign's been interesting. I think at the start the character's always been good. Always been good, and it's interesting because I think yes, there's a bit of trying to find the right words here. It's not. some of the what she does, what she says, a bit sexual, but it's not like in the traditional way. It's almost like a very much an uncomfortable version of it.
Mm.
Like, and that's what it's sort of designed to do.
I mean,
But yeah, like there was a time where I felt like she was focusing too much on the character and the matches weren't as good. But recently, arguably ever since she had this one match with Azumi from Stardom,
mhm.
she's rediscovered, oh, I can do both. And she has. And I think the reign has definitely been improved since. Mina, I always regard Mina as a very good worker, and I think this match will be. I don't think it's going to top the other women's match, which we'll get along to shortly. But I think this will still be a very good match, and it will be interesting to see, will Mariah pick a side, or will she remain neutral the entire time?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is one of the main talking points here for this match is just, even though it's not a tag match, can Tony and Mina coexist? Like it's one of those things where they're essentially tugging at either side of Mariah, and eventually Mariah might split and pick a side. Uh, as of right now, she's playing the field. She's having both sides covered. I don't know how that's going to turn out because I'm assuming that means she's going to help both of them cheat. Like, oh, getting pinned. Oh, put your foot on the rope. Like, like that's that sort of thing. And then I don't know. I personally think the match ends with Mariah crying and going home, like something like that, like going back to the locker room. I mean, like, but I don't see it being a happy ending. But we'll get into that. The
Yeah.
match itself is, honestly, it's Mina, who is not a bad wrestler whatsoever. I like to give her shit because it just pisses Muzzer off here. Uh, but other than that, I've got no real issues with her. She's obviously been a world champion, not world champion, a singles champion, sorry, in the past, Stardom, Future of Stardom, Artist of Stardom with Tam Nakano and Nagi Sayaka.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, Goddess of Stardom. She was Wonder of Stardom, which is their like IC upper mid card title.
yeah, and then of course, obviously, to mention Club Venus as well, one of Goddesses of Stardom
Yeah,
champion
and
as
now it's
well.
currently, I think it's like Venus EX, which is the current stable with it's her Maika, Xena, Hanako, and Waka Tsukiyama. Yeah,
That does sound right. No.
yeah. And like I said, Stardom isn't my strong, so I just know a lot about Mina.
That's fair. Yeah, Empress Nexus
Yeah.
Venus. Ugh, sorry, not stretch. But yeah, like as you said, since Tony had the match with Azumi, things changed a little because she was so heavily on character that matches sort of took a hit for it. But now she's found a sort of blend of both, which is fantastic because Tony's character is the best it's been in a while. um, I think we all collectively, as a fan base, agree that the Outcasts weren't necessarily a good group. It was kind of felt a little forced. Is the way I see it. And then obviously with Soraya winning the world title at All In, and eventually splitting from the Outcasts, that has sent Tony into a spiral where she's had to re-find herself, and she's found this Marilyn Monroe esque kind of character. Which is obviously it's phenomenal work she does, and Mina is honestly kind of complimentary to what Tony's character is, and this should be a good blend, if not of the match itself, but just the characters in the match too. But yeah, I look forward to this. Um,
Yeah.
there's no reason why it won't underdeliver, and plus you got the Mariah May aspect of it as well, which will just add more to it. And I think I agree with you to the point where you said that this is probably the most story driven match. because they've had the story building with Timeless Tony, having her sort of adopt Mariah May as a daughter figure, like,
Mhm.
and then you got Mina, who is like your adoptive daughter's weird friend that you don't really like.
Yeah. This
um,
is like the girlfriend you brought over, but you're a parent now.
you're not a fan, no. Motorcycle tattoos. But no, so with that in mind, we move on now to the other women's match because for some reason they were grouped together here.
Yeah.
We have the clash of companies here in that there's only one Marina and Tony, but this is like the one that's officially classed that way as a winner takes all for both the AEW TBS Championship and the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. We have Mercedes Moné representing AEW taking on Stephanie Vakir representing New Japan.
Yeah, it's interesting that she's representing New Japan when she's more CMLL wrestler, but that's neither here nor there. Neither there. Yep, I think, as I was alluding to earlier, I think this match is more. It's been built up a bit as well, not as well because Vakur's having to doing a lot more traveling. But yeah, I think this match is. I think they had a match before in New Japan and it was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that this is going to be very good again. I think recently in one of the CML shows, Arena Mexico, Mercedes Moné showed up and they had a bit of a pull apart brawl. So they've been trying to build up. They're definitely trying to build this up. Mercedes Moné, of course, recently won the TBS title, and it's I think it's too early to say anything about her reign, but I think her people are anytime Monet shows up, there's questions. Is she being overbooked? Is she not being booked high enough? It's all the talk about this, and I think it's it. I think now I think this match will definitely be better of the two women's matches. Not to disregard Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa, but I know for a fact, Monet at one point was considered probably one of the best American women's wrestler in the world. Now it's a bit more debated. Stephanie Vakura, for someone who I've not seen a lot, has recently been just climbing the ranks recently. She's becoming more and more mainstream recently.
Mm-hmm.
Funny enough, I saw a meme recently that said that she looks she looks like, I don't know if you know. Have you ever heard of Kat Dennings?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone says that she looks like exactly like It looks like if Kat Dennings was a pro wrestler. And ever since I've looked at the two, it's like I can't get that out of my head.
Yeah, I sort of see it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I'll probably show you off stream. But yeah, that's me just spitballing. But yeah, I think this match is definitely going to be very good. Again, similarly to the Moxley Naito match, I think the results are foregone conclusion. I could be wrong, and this match we could get a shock here, but I don't see that happening. But I think this match is definitely going to be and everyone be doing it. Shut up! It's no longer Mercedes Moné's taunt; it's the Shota Umino taunt.
Of course, yes. or the Will Ospreay taunt.
Or the Carl Fletcher, yeah.
But no, I agree with you for the most part. Mercedes Moné, when she went under a different name, was highly regarded as one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. And I don't know what happened, but there was a quite a significant break when she left her previous role to what she is now. And I think she appeared in Stardom, I think it was.
She was New Japan contracted, but she showed up mainly in Stardom, but she did a bit of both.
Yeah, but she was having good matches, and it was just, I think, ring rust for the most part at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Otherwise, I still think she's a fantastic competitor, and like she has character, she has charisma, like, and honestly, the reason why I think she gets so much disdain are from mainly the other company diehards. Like, this is the AEW review, so not the preview. So I'm not going to go into the other side of things. Um,
Yeah.
but I think it's mainly
If you
like
want to do that, just go on Twitter.
yeah,
you'll
exactly.
you'll find it.
Exactly. I think that disdain comes from that fan base in particular. I think most people as well who watch AEW sort of watch that as well, so that's why there's sort of a mix in regards to her reception. But I think give her enough time. Has she been booked strongly? Yes. Has she been booked a bit too strongly? Maybe. This is on levels to like a Jade Cargill sort of booking within AEW. Like, will she actually lose? Is the question people are asking here. Like, is she? Is Tony trying to break Jade Cargill's record with Mercedes Moné here? Like, because realistically, is she going to lose? But we'll get into that. Um, Stephanie Vecchio, on the other hand, is someone who, in a similar vein to Hechikero, I've not seen much of her. I've seen a few matches of her, and she's really impressed me. Which is more than what I thought. I've seen her match over in the UK, obviously, that she had. That's a great match. Go watch it if you find it. But other than this, I know she's a fantastic wrestler, and this, if anything, will help bring out Monet a bit more, because I think Monet still needs to almost not work off the ring rust, but just get back into the conditioning of doing matches, because there's still something a little off with the way she is, but with time and with effort and with enough matches under her belt, she will get back to where she was. Or if not stronger or better. But this, on paper, probably is about the same, or for me anyway, on par with Tony and Mina. Because of the Monet factor, as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vakir could put on a better match than Tony and Mina, but it's just the Monet factor right now for me, which is either hit or miss at the moment. But yeah, I think honestly, a good set of matches there for women, both of them, and I don't know. I look forward to it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but we'll go more into it on the predictions before. But I'm sort of struggling what I can say because it's like it goes into the prediction side of things.
Yeah.
So we move on because I'm really running out of things to say for that match. We have the ladder match for the vacant AEW TNT Championship. So of course Edge retained it in that steel cage match that he had with Christian. Was it Christian? I think it was Christian. And unfortunately, he got injured after doing a move that arguably he shouldn't have done, but he did it anyway. And now we're here, and he had to vacate the title. The Young Bucks wanted to award the title to Jet Perry, scapegoat, but acting on behalf of Tony Khan. On behalf of Tony Khan, Christopher Daniels basically announced another match for the vacant title. So as it stands right now, we've got Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry, Dante Martin, and as of Rampage just passed, Leo Rush. And we still have one more person who decided that we don't know just yet.
Yeah, I was having a quick look there to see if they have announced what that match is. We still don't know. That's
and the worst part is
it's a mystery factor.
There's still 3 more shows before Forbidden Door. Like there's a Dynamite, a Rampage, and a Collision that the match can all happen on.
Yeah, I have a thinking it might be a New Japan guy. At least that's my prediction, not my prediction for the match, but my prediction for who the Misty Man is. But yeah, you've got it's a good group. You're a good group of people, and you've all got guys here who are very good wrestlers. Konosuke Takeshita and Jack. Konosuke Takeshita, someone who should be, I think, much higher on the totem pole than he currently is.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that's due to the Don Callis being associated with the Don Callis family and it's sort of holding him down a bit. His booking's been very weird. Ever since you'd assume after he bet Kenny Omega at All Out that you'd think he'd be shot at the card, and he almost feels like he's kind of in limbo. You've got Jack Perry, who's still quite hot following his return, his association with the Elite.
Oh.
The Elite, the whole scapegoat character and his own.
I'm going to say someone else.
And his the scapegoat bus. Who doesn't love the scapegoat bus?
Of course, we all love a bus in wrestling.
Yeah. If you want to be over, have a bus.
Exactly. Look at Lex Luger.
Yeah.
He was over.
Yeah. Then you've got Mark Briscoe, who's the current Ring of Honor World Champion, and if you've seen his tag stuff with his late brother Jay, they can go all out for a ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
Dante Martin's a good piece in this match. He's another guy who's probably going to do something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And then you've got Leo Rush, who's recently came back into AEW. He's been a bit, he's him. He's been in a company, out of company, in a company, out of company, and he's now back. He seems to be, at least from what some reports are saying, it seems like he's back in AEW for a bit. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes for this. But he's another strong addition into this. Obviously, we don't know who, and as I said, we don't know who the last entrant will be, but it'll be curious to see. I think this match will be. It'll be a spot fest, that's for certain. It's a multi-man ladder match. AEW usually 9 out of 10 times it's a home run and a hit.
Yeah.
Hit, and I think this will be a very good match.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. Regarding that TBD, that person who's not been announced yet. I've heard it on good authority that there's a missing cowboy somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, Brian Keith.
Yeah, of course.
Actually, no. I'm hearing reports. Frank X Cross.
Can you imagine just bringing in this random Scottish wrestler?
Strut my way out of it. No, I knew I could get a Pro 2 reference in there. My job is done.
God damn it. No, this is definitely, as you said, like 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, they don't miss with these because it's kind of hard to miss with another match. Especially the names involved. You've got Mark Briscoe, of course, as you said already, part of the tag team with his late brother, that utilised ladder matches and revolutionised the way they were done. You've got Dante Martin, who, along with his brother and Top Flight, they put on tremendous shows. Leo Rush, who is doing the Okoki right now with the in out, shake it all about, and we're not too sure where he's going now. It could be up ladder, it could be down ladder, it could be out the company, it could be in the company. We don't know. You got, and obviously, I think you've got your main 2 players here. You've got your Takeshita and your Perry. Takeshita arguably should be in the world title scene, because he beat Kenny Omega. It's like but and also Jack Perry is like the the authority slotted in person. Because of the way the Bucks are at the moment. Bucks no card, I should say. I should add. But the match has no right to be bad. Like, unless like the TBD is like, I don't know who it could be to make it bad. Like, like there's 5 names in it that carry match. The thing is, I think a game match you do okay in. It's just singles matches you wouldn't be good in. Like, it could be anyone, really. It could be freaking Paul White. Like,
oh, there we go. That's what we need.
Paul White in a match. He doesn't need leather. He just goes like, right, there we go.
Yeah.
Satnam Singh. There we go. That's who we need.
Satnam Singh. Oh hell yeah.
Satnam Singh. He's as tall as leather. But no, there's no reason why the match won't do good. There's no reason not to be excited with the match either. It's one of the matches that just is going to deliver. Like, no matter what. So with that in mind, before we move on to the main event, that I'm assuming is the main event anyway, was there, or was there not, because I might be going crazy at this point, was there a Jeff Cobb Open Challenge? Because I'm not seeing it anywhere. But I remember reading.
I remember hearing about that. I think it's something that is on the cards. I don't know. I think this is probably just going to be something that we'll find out on Dynamite this week or whenever. I don't know. I think he's throwing out a challenge to anyone.
Yeah.
And I believe it will probably be for the television title. I'm not sure who not really sure who it's going to be. But I think that could be another interesting match depending on who the opponent is.
I've got an inkling who that might be, but we'll save that I guess for predictions because I don't know if we're covering that or not. But
I think if it's not officially on the card, just leave it. I'd say.
Yeah, leave it then. Yes, I'll try it out now then. I think Claudio.
Yeah, I'd take that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Claudio and Cobb. Other things that I thought maybe like Keith Lee returning, but then obviously that was more on his health, and I don't think we have any indication of where he is right now with that.
I mean, we're waiting for the. There's a lot since we were talking about stuff that hasn't been announced yet. There's quite a couple of omissions on both sides, if you could say, for Forbidden Door. No, outside Jack Perry, no Bucks, no Okada.
Yep.
No Bucks, no Okada. You got no FTR's out in. I think both members of FTR are injured, or one of them is.
I think one of them is. I think Dax is injured.
I think it's Dax. With New Japan, there's not that much Bullet Club.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the loosest Bullet Club member in there is technically Jack Perry, who's half and half of the. He's somewhat still associated with House of Torture. He's the only real Bullet Club representative, which is surprising considering Forbidden Door. Bullet Club are a major factor into this, but yeah. I think there's not as much. I've always said for a while now. I think especially with AEW taking both Okada and Ospreay, the New Japan side is a bit. They're in a bit of a rebuild.
Yeah.
Of sorts. So there's not as many big names. Like I think the one big name I'm kind of I really want to see in this card is a Yota Tsuji. Like I'd love to see him on the card. Yeah,
that's valid. I really thought you said, Sanada. I was like, don't you get your Sanada in it.
Like, right? Maybe he's the mystery man, but not had a match.
Maybe, yeah. If it is someone from New Japan, you probably want someone who is of a similar build, I guess, to the other 5. So,
but imagine Hiromu.
Who would be great.
Has he ever done a ladder match? That's the thing. I don't think he's ever done a ladder match.
He might have done one in
He seems like someone you. He seems like someone you would think has done a ladder match, but surprisingly, he hasn't.
He might have done like another company, maybe like in his past or something like that, but I don't know.
He's always been New Japan. I think
Oh, okay.
unless he's done something in a freelance show or he popped up in DDT, but I don't think he has. But yeah,
Fair enough, yeah. But yeah,
surprising amount of omissions. Tanahashi, another one who you know he's been on every Forbidden Door, and he's
I'm fine
still
with not being there.
you're not you're not wanting your New Japan president ace in this tournament.
You know what? He's
in
president.
this.
He's president. Let him just stay behind the scenes. It's fine.
How dare you?
He's
He's gonna qualify for this G1 and do the old man. I've got one more G1 in me.
He did that a couple of years ago, didn't he?
You could say he's been doing that every year.
Yeah. Each year, ending with less and less points.
I guess we've not discussed the G1, have we? In private about mainly because you don't watch New Japan as much.
Yeah.
Like, have you got any general thoughts on that? Have you got any general thoughts on that G1? I know this is just us delaying, but I thought I may as well add something to it.
I don't even know the blocks.
Oh my god. Do we want to go off on a tangent about the G1, or do you want to just get to the main event?
Might as well now because you mentioned it.
Yeah, I'll pull it out.
Whoa! Don't do that.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Oh, that's great! I found Formula One. That's fantastic. No, I don't want the schedule. I want the blocks. Who's in the blocks?
Damn you, Voices of Wrestling. Give us the blocks. There we go. Got it.
Yeah, I found that as well.
Okay, so obviously, you know, we're now going off into the G1 for some reason, but yeah, they've gone back to the good format, 2 blocks of 10.
Yeah.
Blocks of 10. So the A block, you have Tetsuya Naito, Shota Umino, Sanada, Shingo Takagi, Greater Khan, Zack Sabre Jr., Evil, Gabe Kidd, representing Pro Wrestling Noah, Jake Lee, and we've got an A block qualifier. So they're doing qualifiers right now, and currently it's between, they're at the semi-final stage, I think, of that. So it's between any 4 of Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi, Penta, and Callum Newman.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the B block side, you've got Hiroki Goto, El Phantasmo, Jeff Cobb, Yota Tsuji, David Finlay, Henare, Renderita, Yuya Uemura, representing AEW/DDT Konosuke Takeshita. And then the B block qualifier, it's any 4 of Hiroshi Tanahashi, Oten Oleg, Taichi, and TJP. There's your blocks. It's, like I said, it's the first G1 without an Okada or Will Ospreay. Yeah, so obviously there was going to be a weakness.
This is like my first thought on hearing the names and seeing the graphic. It's a very young G1, like relatively like on the average age. Like, I think that the oldest person there is probably Naito. Or maybe Shingo.
Wait. Goto?
Maybe Goto too, actually, yeah. But like, other than that,
Yeah.
there's not really... There's no Tanahashi in here, thankfully.
Well, yet.
Well, yeah, but he's not winning.
Yeah, I think I've just had a look there. Goto's the oldest at 45.
Okay, yeah. But like...
And it's like, Christ, he's 45? Oof.
Like, the amount of matches here, though, like... There's a few obvious guys you can take out because there's, like, in terms of, like, match quality.
Yeah.
Like
And
Khan,
depending
Evil.
depending on how the qualifiers go, you could add in two other young guys, Bolton Oleg and potentially Callum Newman.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you think Newman's getting past Ishii, that is. I mean,
I think that's the story. Newman bet because they did the qualifier participants were sixes, so Newman bet Yujiro Takahashi in the first round. Thank Christ! And then he's now facing Kenta, which is a bit more of a tougher matchup.
yeah.
Yeah, like I think the story is Newman faced off against Ishii, ended 2023. Ishii won, but I think it's hard to say. On one hand, a Callum Newman getting into a G1 would do him a load of good
Yeah.
in terms of experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
But
definitely something that he could use.
on the other hand, Ishii's one of the, in my opinion, the one of the best G1 wrestlers. He will, anytime he's in a G1, he will take anyone in that block and be like, I am getting you a fucking good match. And apologies for swearing, I will get you a good match. And I be damned if you're from House of Torture or Bullet Club. I get a good match out of you or die trying.
It's weird. I don't know.
But yeah,
Like,
very interesting.
I'm looking at that, but B block qualifier, and like, I think Oleg is a shout. I think Tai Chi is also a shout, and I think TJP is also a shout. I think there's three.
Yeah, and obviously, Bolton Oleg bet Toru Yano. So this is the first this is going to be the first G1 without Toru Yano in it since 2007.
And honestly, I welcome that. Like, when I was younger, I did like the break. I liked it being, 12-minute match, 15-minute match, 10 seconds.
What's Yano done this time? Yeah,
exactly.
it's.
I didn't mind that when I was younger, but as I got older, it gets a bit boring because he does the same thing over and over. Which I know it's quite a staple for like comedy wrestling in Asia. Like, if you got a gimmick, you stick to that gimmick and you do that gimmick day in, day out. So it's nothing against Yano himself. It's just the matches he puts on.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this G1 is definitely going to be. On paper, as a young G1, on paper, there isn't that many. Well, the dream matches, I'd say, are more on the B block side, especially with the fact of Konosuke Takeshita.
Yeah.
And, first night he's facing Tsuji, and that's, arguably, I think, one of the matches everyone's looking forward to. I think first night is... Let me pull down all the way. Yeah, on your first night, you have Naito Shingo, which is well protected, and then Tsuji Takeshita.
Yeah.
And that's just, that's kicking off the tournament, a big thing. You've also got Jake Lee. I'm not the biggest fan of Jake Lee. I think he's very hit and miss, but if he's on ball, I think he will be a good addition. But yeah, I think we should probably get back to Forbidden Door. We
probably should, yeah.
Gone off on the tangent. But yeah, this G1. An interesting G1. It's almost a new era sort of a G1. You've got big names no longer in it. Mm-hmm. It's time for the younger guys to step up, and this is
it's definitely it's definitely a younger G1, and it's definitely one that you notice when you look at it, which is a lot of different names in it, and by that I mean not the same old names. I mean just names that you're surprised.
I mean, as we said, potentially you've got potential. You've already got no Yano, no Chase. There's no filler.
Yeah, precisely.
This is the fact we've went back to 2 blocks of 10 I'm happy about that. I mean, I like what they were trying to do with the big blocks, and you try and get as much as it is, but I think that never worked. It kind of hurt the G1 from a star power perspective. Top matches. With this more congested, bringing in the best New Japan have along with two good outsiders. I think this G1 will be. I think this G1 will be better than the recent blocks that have had. It will be the best G1 since probably the last time they were in 2 blocks.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels more like a rejuvenation, like back to the older time of the G1, like where the result. And quick if I'm wrong, but it isn't so obvious.
Yeah, I don't think there is an obvious winner. I think obviously depending on. But as we say, when we get into predictions for the IWGP title, I think we have our ideas of who wins that. And then it's a case of who's challenging at the Dome, and there's no obvious, there's no obvious, oh, there's Okada, oh, there's Will Ospreay. It's wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. But
I mean, I have my prediction for who I think might win the G1.
Mm-hmm.
G1, I'm leaning towards Tsuji. I think he has the most momentum of all these young guys.
That's fair. I'm going for.
Then again, I could be wrong. Maybe. Nah, I don't see them doing that. Yeah, like I said, it's wide open.
I want to see the world burn, Muzza. David Finlay to win the G1.
You're gonna say Sonata? Well, firstly, I was gonna say you're gonna say Sonata and go back to back with the Wrestle Kingdoms.
You know what? Screw it. Naito wins back the world title. Sonata wins G1. We run it back at Wrestle Kingdom. Oh no, that is legitimately the worst outcome.
I point to Evil.
Evil has shenanigans, and that makes the Wrestle Kingdom title match.
Oh no! Actually, another one we could point. I'll point to David Finlay.
No,
Naito.
Finlay's great.
David Finlay, Wrestle Kingdom main eventer.
Yeah.
Fucking burn the company to the ground.
David Finlay, IWGP World Heavyweight Champion.
Anyway, okay, we've badgered now. We've badgered on about with the G1 enough. Let's get to the main event. Forbidden Door.
And you can thank me
on
YouTube. You can thank me on the YouTube because I've just saved you about 10 minutes of G1 rambling.
What we just cutting this? No, keep it in.
No, I'm not cutting it. I'm putting a little timestamp. Just to say, if you're not interested in G1, skip forward to this time or something like that. So the main event for Forbidden Door is a match that is
at least what we assume is the main event.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be. I mean, there's like 2 more world titles on the line here, so it could be. We have the champion, Swerve Strickland, taking on the challenger, Will Ospreay.
Match should just be them doing that for about 5 minutes.
Like the Yakuza 5 Haruka dance battles. You just have those two, But no, this should be a fun match. It's definitely one that's come earlier than I thought it would.
Yeah, I think a lot of people here had these two time stamped as this was going to be the all-in main event.
Yeah. But,
and I think I was a bit 50-50. I'll be honest, I was a bit 50-50 on it main eventing all-in. I think... Now, don't get me wrong. Will Ospreay, arguably the best wrestler in the world, period. Now, I know you obviously... You hitch your horse onto Zach more than Will, but I think even you can't deny that Will Ospreay is head and shoulders above everyone else. And you're talking to someone who is a diehard Kenny Omega fan, and even I would say at this point, Ospreay surpassed Omega.
Yeah, I am thoroughly in the belief Ospreay, and despite what I said about Zack, Ospreay is the best wrestler in the world. There's a reason why I say Zack Jr. is the best technical wrestler in the world, and not the best wrestler in the world, because that honor falls to Will Ospreay. No matter what company you work for, no matter what company you watch, Ospreay is almost undeniably the best wrestler in the world. And there's good wrestling everywhere. It's just Ospreay is a different level.
Yeah.
There was that whole, the GOAT of pro wrestling, and there was the whole levels above, or there's levels to this, whatever. I'm on my own level. And
you could say he has his own elevated level.
You could, yeah. Bring up the Cody Vader. Come on.
But yes, this match, a bit of a shock and a bit of a surprise that it was this match that was being pulled out. As we said, Will Ospreay he's very hot. He's very over with the crowd. And recently, that Will Ospreay won a. Let's see, I'm trying to find where it is. Yeah, a Forbidden Door Casino Gauntlet. He showed up and won that. And he's also he's just recently won the AEW International title as well. So it's a bit of a champion versus champion. So that's a bit of a surprise. They've not really pulled that out their hat yet recently. A champion versus, obviously it's not for both titles, but it's the first time a mid-card, someone who's holding a belt is also gunning for the world title. Which I like. I feel like that's always should be. It doesn't matter where you are in the card. Everyone should be gunning for the world title.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And just to
obviously, Swerve.
Just to sidetrack to any comments that might say, oh, but what about Mercedes Moné and Stephanie Fouquet? They're both gunning for each other's belts. There's a difference.
This match is purely for the world title.
Yeah. Whereas with Moné and Fouquet, they're both going for the other's title. It's a very different scenario.
Yeah.
So go on, you're done.
Swerve, ever since becoming champ, it feels good to finally have, a champion that's on TV every week. I think that's been something that's been needed in AEW for a while. Well, we haven't had it since MJF, really, and I wasn't the biggest fan of his reign. I think, especially during the latter parts, I thought it got stale a bit, but Swerve, he's moved on from his feud with Christian Cage. He's now moving on to this with Ospreay. Yes, people said, it's a surprise this match is happening so quickly. Everyone assumed this was almost a lock for All In. But I think they're playing it smart. I think there's another match Swerve has that I think is going to be the main event of All In. I think Tony Khan, as much as people question his booking about this, I think this is a smart thing to do. Because you could easily just throw the world title on Ospreay now, and no one would question it. I think they're going to build up to him main eventing All In 2025, assuming they're still doing it at Wembley, which I think they will. I think he's got Wembley on lockdown.
Yeah.
I think they're going to slow build Ospreay to the world title, which is why they've given him the international title, so he can, do that dream of wrestling in Uganda. Everyone wants it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of do. There's been a bit of controversy about that, about HCW.
Yeah, I've seen that recently, but we'll not
linger on that. But
yeah, but yeah, as I said, this match, these two, I'm surprised they have a lot of history. I think Swerve, before he was really as big as he was coming over to the UK. I think they might have faced off They did not face off in OTT. I could be
They
wrong.
they they faced off a few years ago, but not. I don't think anytime recently.
Yeah, I'll probably quickly again look that up and just make sure. But yeah, I think this match. I think these two are both at the peak of their powers right now. Yeah, they've faced off quite a lot at least in. They faced off quite a lot in 2014, 2016. They faced off in the first round of the 16 Carat Gold tournament in 2016, and they faced off in
But see,
Progress and
this is what I was saying
Riptide.
though. A few years ago, not anytime recent though.
Yeah.
I remember they had a match for Riptide a few years ago.
Yeah, that was Riptides, Beers, Bands, Wrestling.
I have no idea what the name of the show was called, but I think it was something like that.
Yeah, that was their last singles match in 2017, and now 7 years later, this is look at them now. Like Will Ospreay was always, I think, destined for greatness.
Yeah.
Greatness being more Strickland is I want to say rags to riches, but like this is a guy that
Swerve
was
is
always
definitely
he'd always
riches. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
he went from being an indie darling to being booked like some weird some weird fucking rap group. I don't know what that was. And then his whole run in their company was just severely severely underappreciated as a performer.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where
I remember they remember. I always remember this. Vince McMahon thought that had big plans for one member of that rap group, not Swerve.
no
Top dollar, apparently.
good old AJ Francis.
Thank God he's out of that company. But yeah, Swerve severely underutilized in WWE, and then came into AEW and was treated like a big deal. Some people were thinking, is he really that big of a deal? But I think he's played the long game. He had that tag run with Keith Lee, Swerve in Our Glory, and then his heel run where he always seemed like he was just not getting there. He was always getting chances after chances.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked like he was just another utility guy. But then ever since this feud with Hangman, Swerve has just skyrocketed.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Skyrocketed. And then he finally became world champion. And I think this was always something. I know one of my friends, he said he's been in the corner of Swerve Strickland for a long time, and he said this is definitely deserving.
Yeah.
And he deserves to be world champion. He's been deserving to be world champ for a while. And now that he's got it, I think this is why I was a bit hesitant on the Swerve Ospreay match happening at All In. I thought Swerve has been clampering at the bit to get this world title run. Why would you end it 3-4 months? I think this title reign should be arguably he should be champion to at minimum maybe the end of the year. I don't know who he drops it to. Maybe a Hangman or someone. But yeah, I think this match, I think it's a Will Ospreay. It's a Will Ospreay Swerve Strickland match. It's probably it's between this and Danielson Takagi for which match will be likely match of the night.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is just. I mean, obviously, Swerve's history in AEW is definitely one you can document. He started off with Mogul Affiliates, if you remember that, with fucking what was his name? Do you remember Brock Jr.?
Parker Bordeaux.
That's it, yeah.
And what was the other guy? The guy with the face tattoos. No one remembers his name.
Trench. Why do I remember that one, not Pocket Bordeaux?
You remember your one-name wrestlers very well.
I do, yeah, I do. I like the one-name wrestlers. Like Kamala. No, obviously there was the Mogul Embassy, of course, as well, as we all know, which was very recently disbanded, or at least he was kicked out of it.
Yeah.
With obviously Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, Tony the owner, AR Fox. He's definitely had a weird sort of run in AEW until, as you said, the moment where he just skyrocketed. Like, he's always been someone who we wanted. Like, even when he was with Keith Lee as tag champs, like, he stood out there as well. Like, he was always someone who felt like he was sort of not pulled down. That's the wrong word, but someone who was.
He essentially started again and climbed his way up.
Yeah, which is weird considering how high he was already. Like, you can argue his stint in the other company probably brought him down because of just how he was booked.
Like I think it was the fact that he's one of the six. Like AEW recently, there's been questions over some of the people they've brought in from the other company, guys that maybe aren't as willing to do the job. But Swerve is someone who's came in, has taken, he said, has taken to whatever Tony Khan says, we'll give you this, we might need you to lose to here, and he'll go, yeah, sure, He's taken advantage of what he can get, and it's worked out for him to the point where he's now world champion.
Yeah, exactly. I he's probably one of the more polarizing characters within AEW, and maybe in just pro wrestling in general. It's him, his music, his entrance. It isn't like generic music where it's like, oh, who's this? It's like you hear the skirt skirt, you know who it is straight away.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just Swerve's history in AEW is something that can be documented. Just like the rise, as you said, like there's the sort of restarting from zero to building up again, the affiliates, and then the tag team, Swerve and Our Glory, and then.
I think you, from a personal level, you could almost say that it was arguably at All In last year. His entrance was when I think for a lot of people it just clicked. He's going to be world champion. He's there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think to that point as well, like there was an argument that was made not recently, a few months ago, when he won the world title. Is it too late, or was that too late? Because there was a moment in time where people felt like he was ready to be world champion, and they didn't put a title on him then. I think he lost to Samoa Joe at one point because.
It was in a triple threat he lost.
Yeah.
But that was because of Hangman. I think he needed to get Hangman off his back so he could solely focus on the world title.
Yeah.
And as I've always said, I've said of my rumored All-In main event, I think at this point know where I'm going with this. I think this was arguably the best feud in AEW's best feud of 2023 was those two, and now they're gonna potentially main event their biggest show, which is fully deserved.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that's giving away my predictions again.
Yeah. But
a lot of people
to come back as well, because we've been talking about special all this time that we've not given Ospreay enough attention. Ospreay, as I said already, as well, is best wrestler in the world, and his run in AEW is probably a bit too early at the moment to really look at. He's had a few matches. He's not lost yet. Well, he has lost, but he didn't get pinned in that match.
At least on the AEW side, he's never lost.
Yeah, precisely.
Even before he was signed Tony's been protecting him for a while,
Yeah.
and that's because we all know
I think Tony's been
he
calling him
might not be
for a
the
little
next.
bit.
He might not be the next AEW World Champ, but he's probably going to be the next one after, or the one out. If you were to guess your next 5 AEW World Champions, Will Ospreay is surely option 2 or 3.
He's somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be daft not to.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think right now he has his own title to worry about, which is the international title, of course. And I just think for the time being, it's a bit too early for Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you're feeding into that, Ospreay demanded a title run in his contract or some shit like that. Like,
Don't need on, bruv. Put me in. Give me the title, bruv. Bruv.
That's the worst part. He's the fucking bruv stuff. It's great, but it's also so bad for people from England.
Then it's just him.
Yeah, like people would
Like, have you seen recently? A lot of his tweets now just have bruv in it. He's at this point there.
No, it's his thing.
Yeah, like I think
but it has a negative effect.
As for the build for this match, I think, especially in recent times, they've built up the match. Like, I remember when Ospreay faced Rey Fenix, he did Swerve's. They did a thing which I wasn't fully the biggest fan of, where they had, Swerve not on commentary, but just, ringside of. I feel like that's a bit too WWE-ish for my taste, but so, like, Ospreay pointed towards him, hit his finisher. And then, obviously, they had a promo off, and then Ospreay took the world title off Swerve and put it on both of his shoulders, and then Swerve said, if it wasn't for the fact I'm good friends with you, I would have put you in the ground by now.
Yeah.
So they're definitely heating up this feud, and I think this... And I know everyone says, Bryan Danielson, Shingo Takagi will be match tonight. I think, as I said, Ospreay and Strickland, Ospreay's best wrestler in the world. I think this match is gonna be the best match of the night.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's white.
And I think it's hard to dispute that, personally. I think Danielson Takagi is a very good shout as well, but I think Ospreay and Swerve is just a different kind of beast, a different kind of wrestling to what Bryan and Shingo will deliver. I think they're both going to be like joint matches tonight. But I don't see this not being a worldie, like a world class, like 5, 6, 7 stars in a Tokyo Dome sort of deal, like, like unless there's some sort of like fucky finish, which is entirely possible, but again we'll get into that side of predictions. So with that in mind, that does end this preview side of things. And now we're going to go back and cycle through the matches to give our predictions. Mm-hmm. So we come back to the starting match, trios match.
Hey you. Yeah, you. Do you like this video? There is a button. It's a very sexy button. It says subscribe on it. I wish I could click on it, but YouTube won't let me. Damn fuckers.
The Learning Tree and his students, Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith, taking on Samoa Joe, Hook, and Katsuya Shibata. Who you got?
I think this is surprisingly a lot of these matches. I look at it and I think the matches are kind of, I would say, somewhat clear cut. This is one of the few matches I think you could go either way.
Yeah,
either way.
Yeah.
But I think in recent times, I think this is another match. I don't think we said it's a pretty long term feud. It's mainly between Jericho and Hook. I think Hook needs a win here, and I think this. I guess I don't want to call it just Team Badass because it's a Team Shooters. No. Like, Joe, Hook, and Shibata, I think, are going to win.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I really don't know. It's one of those things. It's not as you said already. Most of the matches here are quite clear. They're quite cut and dry. Like you know who's winning. You know, or at least you've got a good idea who's winning.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is one of the ones that are just. Is it so? It's so just different to everything else that it's like I don't actually know who wins it because there's benefits on both sides winning. Saying that though, I feel like the heels win. I feel like Jericho, Bill, and Keith win. Because yes, Hook needs a win, but Shibata can take the pin. Because Shibata is not the same guy he was years ago.
It's true, though. You could say, Brian Keith's right there. Or Big Bill is right there.
Yeah, I think they're building Big Bill, and Brian Keith's a bit too new in regards to being alone with Chris Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
To just, lose. I think down the line, absolutely. But as of right now, it's a bit too early in the infancy of the learning tree and the learning tree branches. The branches of Jericho. Yes, there we go. The branches of Jericho.
There we go. Put down a t-shirt. Put down your AI-generated t-shirts you've been making recently.
But yeah,
Sorry.
I think...
I've not been a big fan of the recent t-shirt designs AEW have been doing.
I think there's been some that are alright, but I couldn't tell some were AI made. Like I didn't even know that until I read that article.
Yeah, but hey, it could be worse. You could have your music made by Death Rebel.
Very true. Very, very true. Like if it was Jericho, it'd be I am the learning tree. Learning tree, learning
That's
tree.
exactly what it is.
Learning tree, learning tree, learning tree, learning tree. That'd be the theme. Like
Yeah.
So we move on from that one. You've said Team Joe Hook, and I said the tree branches. To the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament first round match, Bryan Danielson, Shingo Takagi. I think that's quite clear. I'll start this one, just alternate. I personally just think, with it being Bryan's potential last full-time run, I think he wins. I think he wins and advances on to face Pac, it'll be. Because also there's a feud broiling there too, with Pac and the Blackpool Combat Club. So I think Bryan wins over Shingo, which is a bit of a shame. I wouldn't mind seeing Shingo a bit further, but that's my thought on it.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement. That being said, as much as I think everyone thinks it's clear cut, this is still Bryan Danielson. He's always seemingly willing to do a job to get someone over. Mm-hmm. And we say it's clear cut, but I think they could have Takagi win here. You think about it, the semi-finals against Pac, Takagi and Pac have history with Dragon Gate.
True.
Dragon Gate, you there knows. I think it's the case of if Takagi does win here, he has to go to at minimum the final.
Yeah, because I mean, if he wins here, it's Pac, and then he'll face either Ray Phoenix, Jay White, Jeff Jarrett, or the wild card.
Go Takagi, Jeff Jarrett. Who would have thought?
I
dream match.
As soon as I said that, I knew
you think you're special, you do. But yeah, no, I think if I was to put money on this, I'd be putting my money on Bryan Danielson to win here.
Yeah, that's absolutely valid. And as you said, like Shingo has a chance, but I think they're leaning more into the whole Blackpool Combat Club and Pac side of things, which is why I think Bryan is going to be the one going forward. We move on to the singles match between MJF and HCW.
Yeah, I think recently, with MJF just coming back, I think they definitely want to heat him up. I like HCW. I think he's a good wrestler, but I think we're both going to be in agreement here. I think it's going to be MJF is going to win. likely via heel tag. I think he's now. I don't know. Is he officially a heel? I don't know if he's because he's definitely acting well. MJF always acts like a heel, heel in the sense of a dick.
Yeah.
But he was in a feud with Rush, who is arguably always been a heel in AEW. So it's hard to say. But I think at the end of the day, I think AEW. I think MJF is gonna win.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I don't really see a world in that Hechikero wins here because, as I said, he's sort of aligned with the grunts, in Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony. As good as he might be, Hechikero, I just don't think AEW sees him that way, and I think that MJF is, in AEW's eyes, a much higher performer, a much higher on a totem pole performer who they're going to be building back up to whatever they have been building up to. So I think this is step 2 on a 500-step plan to get MJF back to the world title. So yeah, I think MJF. So now we will move on to the singles match for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Now I know we said that we're quite sure of this result, and I realised as we were going through other matches that are we actually that clear on this? Because it's one of those things where it's like, firstly, I don't really care who wins, but secondly, I don't see Moxley losing it.
Really?
Not at this show. That's the thing. Not at this show. Because historically, AEW sort of don't treat New Japan that well. I could absolutely see Moxley retaining here, and down the line Naito might get another shot because Moxley lets it happen or something. I don't know. Or Naito just fades away into obscurity for a little bit.
I think this is where we definitely disagree. I think Naito's winning here. I think, as much as you say, yeah, okay, New Japan are definitely second in this partnership. They always at the minimum of this Forbidden Door give the New Japan guys one or maybe 2 big wins. And I think this is it. I think what set it up for me 100% that I think Naito wins it was the G1 block announcement and the fact that Moxley isn't in the G1. If Moxley was in the G1, I'd be a bit more okay. Maybe there is this chance Moxley takes, but I don't see the G1 happening without a world champion in it.
Right.
And that's where. And this is Naito's. This is a rematch from the title. I don't see them having Naito lose again to Moxley and have to have a third match. I don't see that happening, in my opinion. So I just think...
I don't know what it is. For me, I think it's just, like... I've always felt they booked Moxley quite highly and quite strongly. Like, that I don't really see him losing it to Naito. I get Naito's a big name in New Japan. But... I don't know what it is. It's just a gut feeling that I have that Moxley will hold the title until probably Dominion, if I had to guess.
Dominion's already happened.
We're in June, aren't we? Sorry, not Dominion.
Yeah, it's either he drops it at whatever the equivalent of King of Pro Wrestling is, or you're thinking he's taking it to the Dome. And I don't think he's taking it to the Dome.
Not the Dome, no. I think he'll lose it at one of the probably an American show. In all honesty, one of the New Japan Strong ones. If I had to guess,
I just agree to disagree. I just don't think. Yeah. I think New Japan need some strong wins, and I think Naito right now is essentially their top guy at this point. Well. Who is their top guy if it's not Naito?
Obviously, it's Jeff Jarrett.
He's AEW. Like I said, Okada and Ospreay are gone. Tanahashi's a president. the young guys aren't ready yet. Naito's their one meal ticket.
Even
But I
there.
don't think they're gonna have their main top guy right now until one of the young guys steps up.
Yeah.
Lose.
I don't know. I
I
think
don't know.
the big profile win for New Japan comes in the next match, as opposed to this one. But yeah, so we agree to disagree on that one. The next match on here is, of course, the one I'm looking forward to most: Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy. Who started the last one? Was it me who started the last one?
I think it was me that had the trios. You had Danielson Takagi. I had MJF HCW. You had Moxley Naito. So it's me to go first.
Yeah.
I think this is the match I think I'm actually 50-50 on.
Okay.
Like, as much as, I think this is in your terms how you feel like AEW really treats Jon Moxley well. I don't think, as much as Zack is one of arguably New Japan's top guys at this point now. This point before Space Departure, he fills the void. New Japan they've never pulled the trigger on him as a serious. Like, he's given top level chances, but he's never been consistently.
Until this year in the G1.
Maybe, but they never seem to. Like, and I think his Forbidden Door record is I don't think he's won a Forbidden Door. He lost to Claudio.
Yeah,
He lost to Claudio.
He
didn't win the four-way.
Yeah. So he's due a win. Like
He is due a win. But, however, obviously, New Japan do care about AEW. I think are still very high on Orange Cassidy, and he hasn't had. Obviously, he's been feuding with Trent, but he hasn't really had a proper big win in a while. But then again, I feel like this is more a case of Orange Cassidy's kind of stuck in limbo at the moment with his booking. I don't see him going up the card. I don't see him going down the card. So he's just sort of stuck in limbo. I would definitely say Zack needs to win more. And I think I am going to predict Zack. I think New Japan are going to get 2 wins here. I think Zack will win, but I wouldn't be 100% shocked if Orange Cassidy didn't maybe pick up a win. But I think Zack definitely needs to win more.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely a fair assessment. I agree. Purely out of bias. But no. It's definitely a case of I think Sabre needs to win more, and also Cassidy's technically already beaten Sabre. He went 1-on-1, but the fatal 4-way Cassidy did win that, and the booking for Cassidy's gone downhill. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that like they've cooled down on Cassidy. So much so that Cassidy can afford a loss because he should have lost to fucking Trent. But he didn't.
No one cares about that.
Cassidy's in a spot where it doesn't matter if he wins or loses, really. At least on a show like this. Like, this show has no real bearing on the mid-card storylines. Like, what's going on with Orange Cassidy and Trent might play a factor into this match. I don't know. But I think Zack wins, and I hope by submission. Because that's just that's who Zack is. But, against AEW, they probably won't let that happen. They'll probably...
Has Cassidy ever tapped? I don't think he's ever lost by a submission.
Exactly.
I think Mox choked him out, but I don't think he's ever submitted. Yeah.
I think Sabre's more not pass out. Sabre's more like make you tap, rather than.
I think Zack's either make you tap or
flash pin you.
Yeah. By the way, which one's the Tesco meal deal again? Yeah. You went the Tesco meal deal, and
I love it.
the names of his moves are brilliant.
And the worst thing is he'll have a new
Another
one.
year has passed.
He'll have a new one for this match probably.
Probably.
But yeah, Sabre wins here, I think, and there's just more to it. I think, like Cassie doesn't need this win. Zack sort of does, because this is the year of Zack. Other than when he lost the title to Cobb, but
But to be fair, well, arguably you could say he shouldn't have lost the belt to. I don't know what New Japan were doing, trying to push Matt Riddle, and now suddenly he's out the company.
Yep.
I mean, New Japan, stop trying to bring in gaijins that don't work.
Yeah, because there's one right there who does work.
That's right. Jeff Jarrett. Bring him in.
Good old
Primo.
But no, we move on then. We both say that's Virginia for that one. You're a lot less sure than I am of that one. We have the singles match now for the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, and half of Mariah May in both corners.
I think we're both unanimous in this. No matter what, Mariah wins. Yes. She's been in both sides. She wins either way.
The audience wins.
She's playing both sides, so she comes out on top no matter what.
So I've got a bit of a different take on this one. While I think the drawing cuts once is, Toni Storm retains. I've got this ending in a draw. Or no contest, whatever. Like, I think there's something here that happens that involves Mariah May. Because that's been the story from the get-go. With these two. I don't know what happened exactly. But something with Mariah happens. Or Mariah's forced to be the ref. Or something like that. Like Mariah's forced to make the count. For a downed ref or something like that. And she can't choose. Because she doesn't want to choose. And then for some reason there won't be no ref or anything like that. There'll be just no winner.
No contest 2.
No contest 2.
I think I'm in disagreement. They don't do AEW don't do that sort of thing. Especially when it comes to their pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think this is a bit of more clear cut. I think Toni Storm retains here. Yeah. Mariah May is scheduled to be in the Women's Owen tournament, and I think they're going to pull the trigger on that eventual Toni Storm Mariah May match or All In.
That's fair. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I think this match has potential to have shenanigans involved. And I think
there'll be shenanigans no matter what. Like, I think they're both two good wrestlers, but I think they're going to play more into their gimmick side of the things in this match. But yeah, I think, end of the day, I think Toni Storm wins this one.
That's fair. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. And I'm happy to take the loss on that one. Like, I think there's more potential in doing a draw here. And doing a no contest. No winner. But, yeah, the more cut and dry ones is Toni Storm winning this. At what cost? I don't know. We move on now to the winner takes all match for both the AEW TBS Championship and the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Another match that I think is quite cut and dry. I think it's quite clear who wins here. But I'll let you begin.
Is it not? Is it me that starts off? Yeah, it is.
Because you started Cassidy and Sabre.
Yeah. I think the result's clear cut here. Monet's not losing anytime soon, and I think she's finally going to win the title that was originally, I'd say originally built for her. Well, maybe not. Well, I don't know if she was originally always gonna lose to Willow the first time. Maybe she was, but we don't know. Yeah, I think Monet wins here. I think this match is definitely gonna be very good, though. I think this will be a big platform for Vakur to show what she is capable of. But I think at the end of the day, Monet is gonna win here.
Yeah, absolutely valid. I agree completely. The only caveat I have on this is that Monet wins and Vakir shows Tony Khan what women's division needs in AEW, and then Vakir is signed to All Elite Wrestling. Because I fully see it happening.
Taking their talents.
I fully see it happening. I fully see it. So we move on then to the leather match for the vacant TNT title that I'm beginning with because fuck my life, I guess. We have, of course, Konosuke Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry, Dante Martin, Leo Rush, and TBD. Of course, I'm a big fan of TBD. I think they're a great worker. TBD is obviously a four-time world champion, like multi-time world champion, I should say, and I think they can do what it takes to win. You know, TBD all the way.
Yeah.
No.
I think we might be both in agreement that this is very much it's between two people.
Yeah, two. For me, it's
And
Takeshita
honestly,
and Perry.
and I'll let you continue, but I will say I don't have a clear cut on those two. I think both of them need the win as badly as he.
I honestly think Takeshita and Perry are the two that it comes down to here. Overall, obviously, it's still already this will be a great match, but it comes down to these two. Mark Briscoe, not really. Dante Martin, again, not really. Leo Rush, not really. The TBD depends who it is, but I don't think it'll be anyone big enough to win this.
Satnam Singh.
Again, just no.
You said you wanted the. There's no who bigger.
Who better than Satnam?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, I agree though. Takeshita.
Well, actually, you know who it could be? Who could be TBD? There's been rumors of a man of a big name that's no longer with WWE, the other company, and there's been inquiries made. Here comes the money. Who better than a man who seemingly will jump off anything to do anything? And I'm not talking about Darby Allin. Shane O'Mac.
You know, I didn't even think of that actually. Not Shane O'Mac. With the TBD, I didn't even think of it because they have their no compete clauses. That's not really a thing anymore. The 90-day no compete.
Mm-hmm.
So, could it be Ricochet? Or is he not? Is he got good to go yet? I don't know.
I don't know if his contract's up yet.
Because I think we're mostly in agreement that Ricochet is going to All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah. I think we're both. I think I have a particular way of how I would do it. I wouldn't bring him in straight away, but I think it's like foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
I think that you think of who's in AEW and who's big friends with him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't.
I know already Will Ospreay's teased it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that route straight away with Ospreay Ricochet because that's ruining the one match that everyone wants out of him, like straight off the bat. Like,
yeah,
save that match.
You know, as some people say though, do we need AEW to add more depth? Like they haven't already got a smorgasbord full of wrestlers that deserving. But yeah. I think have you given your official prediction or have you?
Not yet,
you still can't choose.
I personally think there's going to be a program set between Perry and Takeshita where they have a singles match for the title as well, depending on who champion is. But for this match, I think there's a reason why the Bucks and Okada ain't booked. Because they're getting involved in this match. And they're going to help Perry win. And then that will lead to maybe the Elite and Don Callis family coming at odds because, you know, the Elite screwed over Takeshita and then that will lead to Perry and Takeshita in a one-on-one match.
Why are we putting the Elite into feuds where everyone is going to cheer them? I thought they were the big bad guys, but so far you've had them face off against people that, while are faces, the majority I would say prefer the Elite. Maybe the Elite aren't the bad guys after all.
Who would have guessed it?
Yeah, you know, Okada will show up, fake cry, stone face. Call someone a bitch and then leave.
I thought you were doing the fucking Monet taunt again. Like
Okada. No, Okada. Okada doing that, yeah. We just need to find everyone to do that dance to see what it looks like. Where's Paul White? You do the dance. Do the dance off. Yeah, I'm in agreement of the fact that Mark Briscoe won't win it. He's ROH World Champ.
Yeah.
Dante Martin won't win it. Leo, I give him a better chance than the other two, but I don't think he's.
Yeah. And of course,
I don't think he's the one. To
TBD is.
TBD. We don't know who that is. I don't, and I really think unless it's a big name, I don't see it.
No, and I think it'll be someone who's announced on the oncoming shows, Dynamite, Rampage, Collision. Like, there'll be some sort of match to determine who that last person is. I don't think it'll be a surprise entrant or something like that. Like,
he'll be Mystico. It'll be Mystico because that means he can be on the card. No. It means he can be on the card and not do a job. Doesn't have to take.
Good thinking.
I'm sorry. I know it's. I'm sorry, tracking again. I love the fact that after that Forbidden Door gauntlet, even though he lost, he went into the ring and George jacked off Ospreay. He's like, nah, I don't care if I lost. I am politicking my way into this. I fucking love Mexican wrestlers. Sometimes that's so stubborn.
They are so ridiculous.
But yeah.
Sorry, go on.
But yeah, I think this is between Takeshi and Jack Perry. I'd say both guys need to win, but I think similarly, I am leaning towards Jack Perry purely because, as I've mentioned again with other matches, the G1. With Takeshi being in the G1, I don't see them giving Takeshi the TNT title and then him disappearing for a month.
Yeah.
With the title.
Now, let me just...
And as said, I think that leaves Jack Perry. And I think he is going to win his first singles title and hold the TNT title. And we're going to have a part where the Elite have, well, not all the belts, but all the members got gold.
Yeah. Now, what if we're in this parallel universe, right? And Perry's at the top of the ladder, about to get the title, right? Out comes Tony Khan. Tony Khan comes in, pushes the ladder down, and costs Jack Perry the match, and then up.
Honestly, when you said an alternative universe, I thought you were gonna say, "Oh God, you're gonna bring out Pepsi Phil."
Oh, can you imagine the fucking?
It's like the true Forbidden Door.
That's
the most forbidden of doors.
They've been building to it the entire time, just under our noses the entire time.
The 1 year build after Tony Khan's masterminded it all into making Jack Perry versus CM Punk.
Yeah, send CM Punk to WWE.
And then we can bring in Drew McIntyre into this, and my God, what can
bring back Cody Rhodes, put him in the main event.
Oh hell yeah, we've gone off the rails. But yeah, I think we both agree here. Jack Perry is gonna win the TNT title. Yeah,
I think so. And then as I said, I think down the line, like they'll build him and Takeshita in a one-on-one feud.
Yeah.
And then that'll put the Elite against Don Callis family and all that. But before we get into the main event as well, obviously they built No, they've not built Okada as much with the Continental title, but they have alluded to the Young Bucks having a title match against Private Party.
Is it Private Party? No, well, I think if I recall, I went back to matches. I think the Acclaimed bet them in a title eliminator.
You're right.
The Acclaimed are due at time.
Sorry, I've had Private Party on my mind the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Acclaimed. Sorry. So the Acclaimed and the Bucks could be at Forbidden Door. Realistically speaking, just not announced yet.
I think you're missing the two key points here, and that it's going to be a trios match.
Oh no!
And we're gonna get the badass Billy Gunn, and we're gonna build up to the match everyone wants: Kazuchika Okada versus Billy Gunn.
Of course, yes, of course.
But I think we're both in agreement here. Jack Perry.
Yeah.
And now we've
Jack
just got the main
Perry,
event to date.
Because Okada comes in and because everyone else in the match.
Yep.
No,
he turns up in his Lamborghini.
Yes. He's like, hit someone, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
But no, move on now to the main event, which I think is a bit more clear, like cut and dry who's winning here. I don't think it's like as 50 as some people are saying it is. Like, because obviously there's the fear that the world title, Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. This is one you're starting with.
I think I wouldn't count out Will Ospreay fully. I think if you were to say if this was a match, if he didn't have the international title, you would almost 100% say a lot more people would swing towards it. I think it's still very close. I wouldn't say it's very close. I'd say instead of it being arguably a 50-50, I'd say it's a 70-30. There's still the off chance Ospreay could win. But I think they're not going to take the belt off Swerve anytime soon. And I think Swerve Strickland is going to win.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think the initial thought process was, oh no, they're going to put all titles on Ospreay so quickly because he's like the highest signed person to the company and he's being thrown so much money, etc., etc. But the way this is, the way it's like put out and stuff, like if it was for both titles, I'd be a bit more like, oh, Ospreay's winning then. But because it's not, I think Swerve retains, and it's like you said as well. I think they're building to that Swerve and Hangman feud. Now that Swerve's actually champion. Like, it makes sense to go that route. But saying that, I don't really see it now. I can't see a world that Ospreay wins this now. Really.
Yeah.
I think Strickland all the way now for this because I think, as you said, there's a much bigger and probably better main event you can have at All In, like just in terms of like story being told. Like Swerve and Hangman's where it is at the moment, not Swerve and Will. And Will can defend the international title at All In against probably Ricochet. But yeah, I think Swerve as well.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, do you have any further comments you wish to make about this show?
I do not. I think this is, as we've said, AEW. While the TV product may not be as good, as strong as it always has been in past years, pay-per-view wise, they usually always deliver. And I think this is going to be another show that will, I would say, definitely deliver. Obviously, we still have a couple more matches that we don't know will happen, but I think from what we've got so far, I think this is going to be another good pay-per-view.
Yeah, I firmly agree with that. I don't have anything else to add really to that assessment. As you say, the pay-per-views always hit, and this has no real reason why it won't. But with that in mind, that does bring an end to this show preview. As always, please like, share, subscribe, comment on the videos. Did you like this? Do you agree? Do you disagree with our predictions? Do you think anything about the show that we've not said? But in regards to that's the YouTube side of things. As well as on our outlets, please follow us on our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter or X, and our Twitch, which we're on right now. And of course, do give Muzza here a follow. That is his Twitter, just underneath his name there. At Muzza__44. And if you're so inclined, please give me a follow on Twitter as well. I post kind of. My Twitter is mainly just me posting podcast stuff. So
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I believe that covers all our bases. I believe that does bring an end to the show preview. Thank you once again, Muzza, for coming on. And we'll see you soon.
Hopefully, this is the start of me coming on a bit more regularly onto HCW. We'll see. We've got some stuff in the plans.
Yeah,
hopefully.
Stuff that I'm not aware of yet, but yes.
I did tell you about it, but we'll take that off stream.
You didn't tell me. Anyway, this is the end of that. I've been Dan. This has been Muzza, and we'll bid you adieu. How'd you end the stream?